Reduciré a cenizas este lugar.
¡Detened a ese pirado!
Okay, I bet you learned a lot about bees while you were working on this film. How did you guys come up with this metaphor for the movie?
Well, it was really Kurt Wimmer's script. This script comes across my desk, The Beekeeper. I knew Jason was attached. I didn't know there was going to be actual beekeeping in it, but there was this incredible metaphor of the beekeeper and the hive and the honeybee and what it represents. And as I started doing research, you learn how primordial bees are to our very existence, to society itself. That agriculture is enabled by the honeybee that pollinates our crops. And the beekeeper is really, in a way, the keeper of civilization. And then there's so much mythology and lore that goes back through many ancient societies. It's quite a powerful symbol.
So, and fraud is around us and especially hard for vulnerable people. That's why Kurt Wimmer decided to develop the plot around this problem.
Yes, my understanding is he had a relative who experienced this kind of fraud. And being a screenwriter, he put it into a movie, which is a great outlet and much better than taking the law into your own hands.
Did you add something to the story, or you shot just the script?
I mean, there's always an evolution that happens as you adjust to the process of filmmaking and production. But he really delivered an amazing script, and for me, my films tend to be more dramatic or dark or intense, and his script had this amazing life and humor in it, and it really gave me permission as a filmmaker to kind of explore making a different kind of movie than I normally do.
Well, I really hated the bad guys in this movie. They are truly evil. And it draws my attention that Verona's reaction after her mother's death is rather cold. So why is she believing so much in justice even after those terrible events happen to her?
Well, I think it's interesting because the way people react to trauma is different. And I've gone through the loss of a parent, and I've seen a lot of trauma. I've seen people react to trauma, and it isn't necessarily the way. Everybody's different, and she's someone who doesn't show her emotions. She's very professional. She keeps it inward. I think she's afraid to share her inner world with people, and so she channeled all of that into solving this crime.
Well, she was the day after the murder, so it's right away investigating the case. So, speaking about hateful characters, Derek is, in my opinion, the worst of them. What do you think about Josh Hutcherson's performance?
I'm really happy with it. We built that character from, a place of emotional truth. What is it like to be a child that is neglected, a child that is surrounded by privilege and wealth and has everything given to them, and instead of having your emotional needs met, here's money or material objects, and what does that do to a person when they have so much power growing up? And what do they have to do to feel love and be loved? And when you take that as a base layer and then add the crazy hair and the green jacket and the snakeskin boots and sort of the Silicon Valley crypto bro culture, you end up with a character we haven't seen before. And I need to remind the audience, Josh is a great guy. He is not Derek. Derek is a terrible person. Josh is an amazing person.
One of the things also that is in the movie is all the money, the system, corruption, and so on. So could you explain a little bit further about how those topics shaped The Beekeeper?
I mean, it is about money and corruption and how money can definitely corrupt politics. And the idea of the beekeeper is that they can come in and fix the broken parts of society. And I think we do see it. We do see the influence of these financial forces in the public life. And in this case, the beekeeper comes in to save things. In the real world, it's a little different.
What made you say yes to direct this movie?
What got me excited about it was really a lot of the plot, the storyline, how it just grew and expanded and had these twists and turns. Then you add the mythology of the beekeeper and the sort of mystical quality behind it, these great characters. But, you know, as a filmmaker, as a director, I've always wanted to make a movie like the films that inspired me, you know, so like Lethal Weapon and 48 Hours and those 80s and 90s action films, Die Hard, that we remember. And I wanted to see what it was like to make that and to see if I could make that and to see, you know, if I was any good at it. It was scary. It was scary to go down this different lane, but I learned so much and I'm very satisfied with this movie.
Jason is, of course, a legend in action films. So how was the experience about working with him?
He is a legend. He's an icon. And, you know, that can be very intimidating to meet somebody who has this larger-than-life presence. And what I learned about him is he's very technical. He's very process-oriented. I mean, he was an athlete, he's a martial artist, he's a fighter, and he performs his own stunts. So he really taught me a lot about action. He's probably forgotten more about action than I ever even knew going into it. I mean, he taught me that there's an A+ way to execute action.
Leaving behind the action side of the character, what kind of personality nuances has Jason's performance add to Adam Clive?
I felt with Jason that you could build a much more emotional movie around him and a movie with real heart. And that's what I feel Beekeeper has, is there is an emotional journey. We really care about it. It's not just a cold vengeance machine. He comes from a place of truth. He comes from a place of love. And the opening is really this zen moment of him keeping bees and this relationship he has with Felicia Rashad, who then gets scammed and bad things happen. And I think it was important to show his capability as an actor and to build a world around him where he's just fully supported.
The choreographies are amazing. So it's true that you work with the John Wick guys.
It's 8711. So Jeremy Marinas is an 8711 protege, and it's you're always trying to evolve action these days. The audience is so sophisticated and has such an eye for how action scenes should be. And so you really have to put a lot of work into creating a new illusion.
And as a director, which challenges did you face with The Beekeeper?
I mean, for me, the hardest challenge was to keep the action fresh and evolving, because there is a lot of action in this movie. I mean, it has everything. It's funny and there's humor and there's drama, but it's an action movie in its essence. And to keep it scaling up and keep it evolving and working with Jeremy and working with Jason to continue the development. And this isn't a gun movie. It's not a tactical shooting movie. Guns are just a tool for the Beekeeper, and he uses everyday objects. So part of the fun was, you know, today it's going to be a stapler and a telephone and a computer. You know, what can we hurt with people with today? So it's a little bit different, I think, than what's been out there.
Do you really think a beekeeper could really retire for this kind of job? Do you imagine Adam coming back to take care of his bees and continue his life? Or maybe there is a sequel in the works?
I think there's a sequel in the works, and I think there's going to be some more beekeeping, and I think there'll be some more fights.
So no retirement then?
I think that that's absolutely a goal, but the world needs help.